Before I knew any better, I thought that quality art in comic books meant more than anything. I thought if you can make just the best comic possible, if you can just take all your energy and just pour it into this thing and make it as good as you can, that's what matters. That's what's at the end of the day. That's just gonna be the thing, right? But more and more as time goes on, I'm realizing that is not the way. And it's even got me to a place where, and I know a lot of people say this, but maybe comic books really isn't for me. Or at least in the mainstream companies hiring you, or even you do your own, create your own comic, and some publisher puts it out. And this is kind of this is like a branch off from my previous video. Does art skill even matter? If that's the tree trunk, this is a massive branch going off, which is all about speed is king. Speed is king. It's just an undeniable fact that, and it's really the antithesis of everything I'm about, because as time has gone on and my skill has developed as an artist, I'm getting better, but it takes so much more time as it goes on, right? Well, with the comic book business, that just doesn't work. It might work for covers, right? But with sequentials, it's really not about that. It's about, can you churn out a page? Can you do, the standard is typically, I'm sure many of you know this, but a page a day, maybe two. Or, hey, a penciler does a page in a day or less than that, and then it goes to the inker, but now the new standard is you just do it yourself. But the point is, like, it's not about quality art unless you can do it quickly. I always thought that, my last comic, and it doesn't even matter what it is, I went into it stupidly thinking I'll take a little bit more time. Like part of the way my brain works at times is, let me look at the status quo, and if it doesn't make sense to me, I'll just question it. I'll just, wait, what's not being looked at here? And not only has that developed my art style in certain ways, but it's also the way I kind of approach the whole, comic book game or whatever as a whole. So I thought the standard is a page a day, maybe two, even maybe three in certain scenarios, but typically it's, hey, get that page done, move on. Right? That matters more than anything. And I'll probably get to that, but I thought, why? Why not spend a little bit more time? Maybe 4 days. I mean, even that's kind of a lot, but if it's like a splash page or it's a highly detailed page or whatever, maybe even 5. And at the end of the day, we'll have a really cool looking comic. We'll have a really, I'll take all of my energy and put it into this comic and make it everything that it can be. And at the end of the day, when it's done, when the whole comic is done, that will be worth it. Wrong. I was wrong. I don't know how I didn't see this. I don't know why I had to. I mean, there are scenarios where this can work. But within the monthly comic book distribution system thing, that does not work. And because I said it's all about getting pages out. I thought this kind of goes to a slight tangent, but it is related, heavily related. And that is, do fans, the standard fan, do fans really care about quality art? And I would argue they don't. What they care about more is just a comic book being there. Because if your comic isn't there, if your comic isn't coming out on the shelf every month, then you don't exist. You're just some guy who's like kind of in comics. That's how it appears. Maybe if you do some variant covers here and there, you're still semi-relevant, but they'd rather have, and of course I'm generalizing here, I'm kind of guessing, but the standard fan who goes into the comic book shop, they would rather have art that's passable, but constantly there. Tells a good story, but it's not pretty. And I mean I find it hard to see any other, like, you just can't convince me otherwise. So let's just say I stuck with my plan and it did work. Let's say I poured all this energy, took years to do these 4 issues of a comic like an idiot. And it was this crazy success. People were losing their minds over it, thinking it's the best thing ever. Oh my God, we need more of this. Banging down my door, begging for more. Well, I can't even give it to them. It takes months and months to even do 1 issue. I don't know why I didn't see this before. So it all comes down to, you're kind of forced to speed it no matter what. So if it takes you time and time and time to do a page, you're out of this whole system. You won't ever make it. You won't ever. You see what I'm saying? Like, so it kind of puts me at this fork in the road. Not to make it all about me. I'm just kind of talking. I'm sort of forced to go take a path here. Do you come up with a whole new style, or not a whole new style, but just find a way to simplify what you do and majorly change that in order to fit this system? Or do you straight up just say, I don't fit in this. It doesn't make sense. It's not working. It's not, even if it was working, even if people were buying a zillion copies of these 4 issues, well, issue 5 it's taking time. It's taken a lot of time, to the point where people will just lose interest. They'll just say, you know what? I guess that guy's retired. I guess that guy, he's washing dishes somewhere. So do you just say, you know what? I'll just do covers. I'll just do commissions, because that's more. I really love doing comics. I do. But my natural way of doing it, where my sensibilities, or my what comes naturally to me is I like to take a drawing and just make that everything it could be. I don't like to just get it over with. I don't like to just... I like to... What's most fun to me or most enjoyable is, let me just spend a week on this one drawing. Let me really, because it's not just what's most enjoyable. There's something in my mind, something in my brain, something about the way I'm wired. If I know I can improve something, or if I know I can make this even better, it's very difficult for me to move on. It's very difficult for me to just, that's good enough. Let's just move on. It's very difficult to, I don't want to say dumb down what I do, but it's difficult to not do my absolute best. It's difficult to, this isn't me patting myself on the back. I'm just being honest. I'm more wired to do what a cover requires or a commission. So it's do I just... Or, here's the third option. You leave this whole system and you just kind of do your own comic, self-publishing. And you take all that time, and whoever's there to hopefully buy that one issue you do, or that one shot, or a series that takes forever to do, I guess you're just left to hopefully make that work. And you can keep doing this laborious, majorly time-consuming thing, and maybe you could even sell the original art, and that's a good financial combo. But yeah, it just seems that speed. I don't know why it took me this long, because in the very beginning of trying to break into comics and get an art career going, I was dead set on, I need to be good. I need to get skilled. I need to improve. And I knew along the way that, hey, you have to do a page a day. That's kind of the standard. Maybe two. But I just thought, I'll figure that out. Part of improving will be, I'll get that worked out. But, well, I haven't. I'm just very slow. And I know there are slow artists out there, but like I said, within this whole monthly comics thing, it just doesn't really, it's not the norm. It's not the standard. And people who work at these comic shops, they won't really, you're not going to be on their mind. The fans won't think of you, and you're just kind of left in the dust as this guy who's taken forever to draw a sleeve. It just doesn't make sense. And the only way it does kind of make sense, you could do graphic novels, but you're banking on that one book. It's like a movie. You're banking on this one thing to be this blockbuster, big, everyone goes nuts over this one thing, and that's a crazy gamble. In a lot of ways, that is kind of what I'm doing. But the more I've done it as time goes on, and the longer and longer and longer it takes each time, the book I'm doing now, it is taking so long. And this isn't a complaint. It just, the pressure just keeps going, because, and I'm not even, here's the crazy part, I'm not even spending as much time as I'd like. This is the dumbed down version. This is a dumbed down version. I am in a way, somewhat simplifying. I'm like, and it's different issue to issue, like it's different page to page. Certain moments, you can kind of get a page done pretty quickly, or quicker than others, but largely I've even gone down a page size. Like the standard is 11 by 17, and I went to 11 by 14 just to save time, and it has helped. But and then there were even earlier stages where I would I found little ways to kind of take shortcuts with my style or my process. And over time, naturally, it just flowed back in, like doing all aspects of it. Because as I was saying, I can't not go all out. Like it's just not the way I'm built. It's just not the way. So does anyone relate to this? Like, am I just an insane person? Or what do you think, like, what is speed king? Do you disagree? Do you think, fans, by fans, I just mean like general people who read comics, typically new comics, do they care more about just, hey, I want that new book every month? I don't really care if it's great as far as art-wise. Like, what do you make of this? This is the situation I've been in for so long, and it's only getting, the walls are closing in, and I'm leaning more and more and more toward, this just isn't for me. It's and if I'm gonna do comics, maybe I just, like I said, I just do like a one shot here and there. If it takes me a year to do a one shot, okay, whatever. And I'll just do covers and commissions and and people, out of all the people that are aware of my work overall, people don't really go nuts for my comics, to be honest. So maybe I'm better off just, people go way crazier for the commissions. They go way crazier for the covers, typically. All signs are telling me, go that way. Like, why are you just losing your mind over these comics? It's because I enjoy it, and I've always wanted to do it, but it's just not working. And then I've even thought also, like, you can do the writer route, which I've done that a bit. But then, that's not a perfect lane either. You just being blunt, you get half the money, right? I do have to pay bills. This is a reality. This isn't like a fairy tale. It takes all this time, so I can't do some other job. It's got to make sense. So not only that, you're forced to draw whatever they write. Like I don't come up with any of that. Which can be fun in its own way, but they might have something they came up with that you don't agree with, and you're forced to draw it. What are you going to do? You're in a contract. You're spending months and months, if not years, on this thing. You can't just all of a sudden, oh, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. Like, no, you have to. You're forced to draw that, and you're tied to this person. By the way, I'm not talking about anybody specific. This is just a general. This is how it goes. So all these lanes, you could pick a lane, but I don't really know where I fit, other than maybe like I was saying, the one that's looking best is, and one last thing, not to go on too long, but the only way that it maybe kind of makes sense doing this is over time, because if it's not obvious, I'm doing a second volume of my book, Faceless. And what they do say is the more volumes you have of a book, more people will buy it. Like they'll see a second volume, a third volume come out, and new people will see that and go, oh, what is this? Well, let me just get them all, right? So maybe over time, long game wise, it will pan out that way. But I'll have to see. Maybe this second volume will come out. More people will see it and be like, oh, I did see that first volume, but I didn't really give it a chance. It was kind of weird. Didn't make sense. Didn't really hear much about it. Let me get both. Now let me get 1 and 2. If I kind of get that reaction, that will signal me, okay, maybe do that third volume. And which I do. I want to at least do the third volume. So it's like a trilogy, and maybe even one day that could be one collected book. I don't know if I'm getting too into the weeds here, but it's kind of a ramble. Let me know what you think. Yeah, that's kind of what's on my mind. It's a big, you'd think, my dumb brain thought, get better at art. Just do better. You're an art guy. Get better at art. And now I'm left, okay, yeah, I like the direction my art's going. In my mind, it's improved. It's not perfect by any means. I'm always trying to improve it and get better, but it's left me in a situation where now I don't fit in this system. And of course, there are examples but you could count on like 2 hands where this does work. It's and we're talking the American, U.S. system of like, I know like a lot of European comics, that is the way, but it doesn't really, for the most part, that it's just not really the style here. It's not the norm. It's more about just get those pages out. Just, you know what I mean? And there is plenty of, let me just say this. There is plenty of amazing art that it blows my mind. I don't know how these people are doing it that quick and that good. I wish I could do that. I just can't. It just takes too much time. But I guess that's all. Leave me a comment. Seriously, what do you think? All right. I guess that's it. Bye.